Sewage leak at the Altitude Apartments. Let's have a look. Good morning everyone, Florian Heise here and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. I've got my morning stein of coffee and I thought we'd read about this article regarding the Altitude Apartments in Parramatta that people were sharing with me yesterday. And we'll just have a look at the building. Altitude is up here in Parramatta, western side of west or northwestern side of Sydney, away from our triangle of Vale, really, which is all the building issues we're having around the industrial section north of the airport in Sydney here. And we'll have a look at this article because this is quite a sad and frankly disgusting story. And it's written by Ali Foster, and I'm going through news.com. A sewage leak at a Sydney apartment building has resulted in at least 2 residents being kicked out of their homes. A woman named Erica called into 2GB's Sydney Live radio show just moments after finding out she had received a termination notice as a result of the leak in the Altitude by Meriton building in Parramatta. Eric told the station that she noticed a huge spray of liquid coming from apartment 5 levels above her last night and reported it to management. Oh boy. The spray was reportedly coming from an empty apartment. Oops. The following day, she and her housemate discovered huge puddles throughout their home. The pair were later informed by management that the leak, which had been going all night, was septic. Oh, that's terrible. That really is. I mean, 5 stories down. It's been leaking all through the building. How are they going to rectify this to ensure it's not contaminated? I mean, even if, it's been 2 years, so hopefully it's just a failure that's got not a specific construction issue or some dodginess. Hopefully it's just these things happen. But how are they going to clean the bloody thing? Anyone in the cleaning game? Let me know. I should ask one of my mates about it. My bed and my roommate's bed and all our belongings have now been infected with septic, she told Ben Fordham. The unit's large balcony had reportedly caught a lot of the septic flow. So did it go out of the top of the building and come down? It'll be interesting to see. They have since been issued a termination letter for health and safety reasons, though Erica is unaware if any other residents have been kicked out. Maybe it just all got down into their apartment. The termination notice issued by Meriton Property Services today says the untreated sewerage has damaged the fixtures and fittings and made the premises unsafe to inhabit. Well, yeah, it has. Sewerage is not healthy. Untreated sewerage is not healthy. And so she's saying all her belongings has been ruined, and she shared this picture. How many shoes? I mean, this is just a women thing. Okay, I've got, I guess I'd never throw out shoes until you wear the heel down to nothing, but okay, she's a typical girl in Sydney, I'm guessing. I'm guessing with that many shoes, and none of them are warm. They'd all be cold. I'm thinking too much like a bloke, aren't I? Too sensible. Erica said she'd been living in the building since 2017, the same year the tower was completed. This is just ridiculous with everything that's happening with buildings, and they've just put us on the street after there's a major issue of us getting really sick, she said. Yeah. She said the building's management initially offered her and her roommate a room in a Meriton hotel next door for around $2,000 a week. $2,000 a week. With no discount and no guarantee they would be compensated. $2,000 a week. I don't blame her for not trusting them. I do not blame her for not trusting them at all. $2,000 a week. That's just crazy. Wow. A Meriton spokesperson has informed News.com that Meriton is not the owner of the building, they are the managers. Well, yes, that's true, but they have a duty of care to ensure regular maintenance is done. I would hope that checks are done, inspections are done, that the sewerage system is working and operational. How many of these buildings, just think how many of these buildings, and we'll jump over here. How many of these buildings that are managed by these management companies, and I'm seeing more and more of them on the internet now as as I'm talking about these things, they're advertising, oh, we're different. We don't care about profits. We care about people and all this other rubbish, I mean, look at the scale of that building. So how many of these organizations that manage these buildings make sure they do all their maintenance? Make sure they do all the inspections. I've worked on buildings before where, you get down into the basement and there'd be like a emergency kick-in system for the generator that hadn't been checked in like 10 years. Where people are happy to collect the money and they're not fulfilling their responsibilities. I'd say that's part of their duty of care to do it, even though they're not the owners of the building. That's fine, but you're on premises. So, I mean, it is just happening more and more, guys, isn't it? I've got to have a coffee with this one because this is a huge building. You'd hate to be the owner of the apartment, would you? So, the sewage has soaked through the carpets in the apartment. Well, that's disgusting. Meriton acted quickly when it was alerted of the incident, a Meriton spokesman said. Well, that's good. That is good that they acted quickly and they responded to it. I mean, these girls are probably just unfortunate victims of circumstance in some regards. It was an isolated plumbing incident caused by a blocked pipe. Sanitary products caused the blockage. Well, there you go. There you go. We've all heard about the baby wipes that are causing the huge sewerage icebergs and all the sewerage systems everywhere. To the point where they want to ban them. And as someone who has 4 children, no chance. You just let people learn to put them in the bin. It's just nuts. So there you go. Sanitary products are causing the blockage. So at least they responded quickly. So it wasn't a maintenance issue. It was what it was. It was people in the building putting stuff down the toilet. Hopefully it's not just normal toilet paper. Hopefully they put stuff down they shouldn't have that caused this issue. And then it's really just a management issue and people being dumb. Wouldn't that be a nice change, guys? That for once one of these evacuations or these issues is the result of people being stupid and not inherent issues with regards to maintenance or people cutting corners. I really hope that's what it is. That would actually in some ways make me feel a bit happier with all the just drama that we've had. And I can understand why she's called the radio. I understand why she's shocked at this type of thing happening, particularly with everything that's in the media. And frankly, I'm probably a part of that too now, talking about this all the time. But if it's just a simple issue like that, in some ways, that is a happier outcome. I will be much happier with that outcome. The spokesman said 4 residents were affected by the incident and alternative accommodation was being offered at Meriton Suites. 1 resident has already relocated to another apartment in the building. Okay, so this looks like some people were sharing it with me and people were talking about it on the news and the radio. I mean, things like this do happen. They do happen on occasion. Where you're living in a building this tall and there's, sewerage leaks in the building. Oh, we'll have a look. I mean, there you go. Oh, building's gone. Things like this will happen in a building of this scale. If you're living, if there's a sewerage issue, there's a clogged pipe, things go, damage gets occurred above you. Well, the poor people down the bottom who can't afford the penthouse get shit on. Isn't that just the way society is sometimes, guys? Maybe I've been watching a bit too much Blackadder recently, but isn't that just the way it is? So it looks like this is just one of those things that can happen. And because of everyone has a heightened sensibility to these issues, that they're, drawing attention to it. And which is good. Which in some ways is good. That she rang up the radio and she got attention to it because it puts all of these management organizations on notice, going, guys, you are being watched like a hawk. You need to do your job properly. You need to respond. You need to take care of people. You need to ensure that this issue is addressed. Because, okay, it happened overnight. They were asleep. They woke up and there was shit everywhere. Literally, that's what happened. So they dealt with it. They got them out of there. How many times would there be in the past stories of where people are just expected to live in squalor? Well, no, that's not happening here. We've got systems in place to take care of them. Hopefully, the women will get alternative accommodation provided, and you'd think their insurance would cover them for new accommodation. Maybe, maybe not. But it isn't. It doesn't look like, from the scanned information we provided, that it is a systematic failure on part of the construction of the building or, you know, the ongoing maintenance of it. It looks like they responded fairly. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me for this episode. I know it's an unpleasant topic, particularly with sewage running down buildings. Some advantages of living in detached houses, everyone. Like, share and subscribe, ding the bell to see my daily updates, and I'll see you all later. Bye for now.